In last week, parts of central and southern Arizona experienced devastating flash floods. In the historic mining town of Globe and surrounding areas, lives were lost, infrastructure was damaged, and an urgent rescue operation is underway. This flooding has raised serious questions about what caused it and what it could mean for Arizona's future. Over a 24-hour period, Globe, Arizona, a town of roughly 200 people east of Phoenix, recorded about 2.5 inches of rain. That may not sound extreme in wetter climates, but in the arid terrain of Arizona, when intense rainfall falls in a short time, the impacts can be catastrophic. Those heavy downpours triggered flash flooding, sweeping streets, submerging vehicles, and pushing debris and hazardous materials downstream. In Globe alone, about 1,000 propane tanks were displaced from a distribution facility into streets and creeks, creating a serious hazard. Tragically, at least 4 people died as a result of the flooding. 3 fatalities were in Globe, and 1 was in Scottsdale. Local roads, including parts of US Route 60, were damaged or blocked by flood debris. Search and rescue efforts continue, though some operations were delayed or paused due to dangerous creek flows and additional rain. The governor declared a state of emergency in Gila County to allow faster deployment of resources. Officials in Globe warned that downtown is unsafe due to compromised buildings, debris, and the scattered propane tanks. Citizens have been asked to stay clear of creek beds, allow rescue teams room to operate, and shelter in place when necessary. Evacuations have also taken place in nearby areas, including the Havasupai Reservation, where about 20 tourists stranded in the canyon were evacuated due to flooding risk. To understand why this flooding was so destructive, it helps to look at both natural and human causes. In deserts and semi-arid zones like much of Arizona, the soil is often compacted and less able to absorb heavy rainfall quickly. Dry washes, canyons, and steep terrain can funnel water rapidly into towns and valleys. A downpour that might be manageable in wetter regions can translate into a sudden surge of water here. The intensity of this storm played a major role. 2.5 inches of rain fell in a short window, overwhelming drainage systems and creek beds. When storms are slow-moving or cycle repeatedly over the same area, flash flooding is almost inevitable. There is also the broader backdrop of climate change. Scientists agree that as the planet warms, the atmosphere can hold more moisture, leading to stronger storms and heavier bursts of rain. Across the United States, extreme 1- and 2-hour rainfall events are becoming more frequent. In Arizona, the monsoon season is always a period of heightened risk, but climate change is increasing the likelihood of destructive extremes. Other factors may also have contributed. Land degradation, erosion, or past wildfires can reduce the ground's ability to absorb water, worsening runoff. Infrastructure in small towns is often not designed for storms of this magnitude. In downtown Globe, streets and buildings were quickly overwhelmed. The immediate consequences of this flooding are severe. Rescue teams continue to search for missing persons in areas where floodwaters swept away vehicles. Hazards from displaced propane tanks and other debris must be contained before they create new disasters. Infrastructure repairs will be costly. Roads, bridges, drainage systems, and historic buildings have been damaged. Cleanup of sediment, debris, and utilities will take weeks or even months. The social and economic impacts will be felt for even longer. Many residents and businesses in Globe are facing displacement and financial loss. Local governments will bear the strain of reconstruction, and residents will face the emotional trauma of lost lives and livelihoods. There is also the risk of repeated flooding if more storms arrive before repairs are complete. Sediment and debris clogging drainage channels could worsen future floods. The long-term recovery will depend on improving flood control infrastructure, building larger culverts and retention basins, and reinforcing drainage systems. Zoning changes may be needed to prevent development in vulnerable areas, along with stronger early warning systems to alert residents in time. The broader environmental impacts include erosion of hillsides, damage to ecosystems, and contamination of soil or waterways from chemicals and debris. These effects can ripple downstream, altering rivers, wildlife habitats, and even groundwater systems.